All right, he's hoping that all is well with you from wherever you are listening to us. This is One on One, the show that brings on board different personalities and, of course, officials from different sectors, whether private or public institutions, to help us understand some of the issues that are emerging in the news spheres from Rwanda and across the globe. My name is Eugene. Anangwe. My guest in studio today is David Niyonsenga. He is working at the Ministry of Infrastructure and he is the principal engineer in charge of urbanization and housing development. Welcome to the program, David.
Welcome, Mr. Uji.
Thank you. So we definitely will jump into the issues of the day. Today we'll be talking about issues of rural settlement. We'll talk about the growing city in terms of infrastructure and the needs. And from your point in terms of the policy making corner of the institutions that are making policies, as we look ahead at our developing city and the infrastructure issues that are concerned, let's quickly look at the issue of coping with the pace of development of the city. Today, as we speak, we have new buildings mushrooming, new settlements being created. Are we able to cope? Are we following real procedures? Are we following what we're supposed to do from the ministry's perspective?
Okay, thank you, Ms. Uji. Maybe before answering your question, I will take it through of the government and all. So these issues have been raised in different angles of the country and different stakeholders. And we are far because we come across as per our second generation of ADPRS. We said the target for how we can cope with the urbanization and rural settlement. From there to make to put on your knowledge, the Rwanda have just make target to reach 35% of urbanization rate by 2020. What does it mean? This means that if you look at the way we stand for now, we are on almost 18% of urbanization
18
rate.
And we want 35 by end of when?
This is the vision 2020.
Okay.
So to do so, we identified how and where you can start. So we have identified six cities as the model where you can start and where you can cope with this what we call urban pressure, dealing with the demography pressure. So this secondary city, we intend that taking as a model will be just the core and the spatial part where we can start growing our city.
Which cities are these? Which areas are these?
Pressure. So this city, just to take you to remind you, is just the city of Musanze. We have the city of Rubavu. These I'm referring to west part, and you have city of Rusizi, and we have the city of Muhanga, and the city of Huye, and the city of Nyagatare in east. So those are six secondary cities. So we think that by dealing with them, by promoting them, we may ease the pressure of people much coming in Kigali, but not having a monocentric, have just a uniform urban growth countrywide.
Maybe before you go to the next point, let's talk about evenly growing these cities, in the same way, as you say, so that people don't say that Kigali is just the place to be, so that they understand and feel like even when you go to these other six places that you've mentioned, they will still be able to enjoy the same experience that they have in Kigali or even better. How then is the ministry doing this? How are you dealing with that part?
Thank you so much for that's a nice question. Let me call it a nice question. Even the way you say, even growing. So to do so, we need to have in place a policy. The policy is a strategic guidance. So far, the ministry is developing the policy, which we call the National Urbanization Policy.
Which is not yet ready.
We are under this consultation.
Okay.
What is that urbanization policy? Is a national strategic agenda, which we showing what to do in which angle of the country and how different institutes will be partnering, how they will be collaborating together so that we can promote the development. Here, if we are talking about city, I'm happy that we somehow indirectly caught about it. We are talking about the job opportunity in the cities.
Okay.
We are coping about how we get a quick service. We are coping about how we deal with accessibility to basic infrastructure. We are talking about water. Are we going just enough water to cope with the target we end of? Are we getting enough electricity? So urbanization policy is just coping all the different aspects, how we can make it those city much more vibrant in terms even economically, in terms even socially, and in terms of how to create the livability in those kind of city.
So the policy will answer my question.
Exactly.
And when will it answer this question?
We end off just to have this policy just in this year to come. So we are entering on the final stage. I could say that so far we went in a consultation with different stakeholders to get to the view of people, the view of how they think the future ahead, where the country is end up to be, how they think they can partner. We get already the different view. So we expect by December this year, we have just a draft which you can try
of the way forward.
So
when you talk of consultation, it involves who and who and who? Who are the main people in this consultation exercise?
Okay, thank you. If you look at the way Abana said, I could say that everybody is almost a player.
I like when you say that, because the next question I'm going to ask is it has to do with this notion that the population has felt left out when such key decisions are being made about their environment or their cities are being made. Specific example is the issue of entertainment. Because you've mentioned that you want the cities to grow where there will be employment opportunities, where there will be social amenities and water and all those access to some of these main things. But we don't mention the recreational part, where the entertainment element is. And when we talk entertainment, we have the issue of noise coming in. So in this policy, are you going to have a way of dealing with this thing once and for all?
I could say that to say answer and follow is like a science. Things keep evolving. So, but we try to do our best to answer all the questions. Because if I'm talking policy, we don't leave out any element of which is making a city. As I earlier said, that to make a city livable is we have the recreational area. So how going just to address those recreational area? Because what to make my city attractive, it should be different. For example, if say I'm going to Dubai for other just city,
or just here in Burundi.
Yeah, it's just here in Burundi. Just if you're attracting like a tourism thing like that, as you see Burundi, Barcelona, it's because there's some entertainment activity as well. So all those issues are highlighted, and if you're talking about here stakeholder and other people involvement, we even invite the representative of the earth. We even invite the representative, even not and they have only if the army, because they have to talk about the security, how they want how safe we want to be your neighborhood. So it means each single element which is composed the city is highlighted and addressed, and we make sure that we cater at least the major part of the player so that to have the policy much more effective and easy to
tackle. You see, you're the principal engineer in charge of urbanization. This is what you tell me before we started the show, and I believe that you understand deeply the meaning of urbanization and what comes with urbanization, and I still want us to dwell on that element, because I want to hear it from you as a person who's been studying and probably understands this growth. How do we deal with this issue of, having people to have fun in a growing city that is becoming urbanized, where people are having nightclubs, where people are having entertainment places where they can be able to have fun? How do we deal with that issue without stepping in the shoes of others? And as you answer that question also, I would like to hear from you. Do you feel that other institutions are sidestepping you as the people who are in charge in dealing with urbanization? Are they sidestepping you? By this, I'm talking about the security institutions like the police and the city of Kigali. Are they slowly hampering with your development of the urban places? Because we know recreational facilities are needed, entertainment joints are needed, but today people are crying out there. Give me your answer on this.
Okay, thank you. So that you are just focusing on the entertainment, I could say that they are not, the way you say that hampering, solely hampering is some subjective. Because if you're talking about the element of the city, we make sure that these are involved. And I explained what is the role to make the city much more livable. As you are emphasizing on entertainment, someone also is emphasizing on something like economy. And you know that to make more people get entertained, they should have at least some standards of living in the economy so that they can entertain. So we make sure that we all packed everything together, and we involve this city of Kigali and the security organs, being the police and the army, so that they can even share the vision of how we want the city look like. So you want that our city be farmers of what? It's not like some city are farmers for tourists like a tourist city, for example. Other farmers for just entertainment. So it's not that we focus on one single element, but we make sure that how different elements are being just incorporated together. Of course, as well by emphasizing also in entertainment, because that's one of the elements of the city. So I could say that we make sure that all these security organ and the COK, they are just coping. And from the discussion all along, from the consultation that I told you that we had, I could say that they are not even solely, but they are actively being involved and being just understanding this concept of urbanization.
So in this case, because you're the people in charge of urbanization, holding hands together with other players.
Sure.
So I'd like to hear from you, why you involved then? Or did you involve the security personnel and the city of Kigali in these discussions on the issue of noise pollution? Because urbanization comes along with various kinds of pollution. Today, the pollution that is being talked about too much, that is causing a lot of reactions, is the noise pollution. So as the people in charge of urbanization, why are you involved in these negotiations? And what was your voice there? What was your opinion there when someone stood and said, we want people to stop making noise, and these are the things that we will do if they make noise? What was your voice there?
Okay, my voice is just clear as the government direction. Because if you want to make a city attractive, it's like we wanted that everybody feel comfortable in the city. So imagine that you are my neighbor, and just we are both neighbor, and surrounding in our neighborhood, there's some people who can making noise. And as you know, the city, there's main activity going on in the city. Sometimes people come to take a nap during the day because they are tending to work during the night. Others just the inverse. We work on the day, and we want to just have a night where we want to be safely and sleep so that we can go and work other activity involved. But imagine that the time you take for rest out of the busy time and you have too much noise. Are you saying that the city is comfortable for you?
This noise, how do we measure it?
That's the good question. So from there, we could say that first of all, we have to highlight what is the problems and how relevant it is.
Yes.
Then when it comes to measure, then it becomes subjective. I could say that by making this, we involved, because we don't have yet the clear or specific standard for
Were you part of it?
Know,
were you part of this decision?
Of course, the ministry is part of it, because we
just want to make it clear so that it don't look like I'm asking you. I'm asking the wrong person this question.
So, which means that here it's somehow subjective, but we know that what is noise or what is not noise. For example, here we are talking, you are not making noise, but if you talk too much louder, then you're making noise. So it means we make sure that we involved all the concerned. By taking that decision, it was not like a government decision. Everybody was involved. If you can see the people who attended, there's even a representative of this nightclub. There
is involvement by just appearing, and there is involvement by also having their voice heard or their concerns heard. Because we cannot say that people were involved. Yes, by coming to a meeting, you'll be written there, members present, you'll be there, nightclub owners, religious leaders. But then the key question is, were their concerns put into consideration? Because you have a place which depends on music to flourish.
Sure.
You have a place which for all these years has been having people coming, nobody complaining.
Sure.
And then all of a sudden now they have to close their business because people no longer come, because what they used to come to do there is no longer there because the police will come and shut it down. So how do they settle in these areas? How do they do business?
Now I get to your point. The problem that here is like a misunderstanding. The government or anybody there's nobody who suppressed the nightclub or just people to make music. But what you emphasize on is like the environment. Can you consider the environment? There's a soundproof. Do you have a soundproof? If you have a soundproof, it means the neighbor will not be complaining the noise. Then you can make sure that you enjoy just your music. The problem is just to cope with the minimum standard which has been set. And if I have to refer to the level of involvement, I could say that everybody was just even happy, because if I show what is the concern of the neighbor, I show the concern of the citizen. So you could not be happy that people are just spending sleepless nights because they're making noise. You should also be happy that the more we're making benefit or some profitability out of the business is even not helping other people's security. So it's hard to be clearly stated that nobody just suppress the music entertainment, but we want to just to make sure that the more we're entertaining, we are not just disturbing others. For example, by setting the soundproof in our nightclub.
In our nightclub.
Which means...
And our churches. And our mosques.
Exactly.
Now, whose side are you on? Because this is now a personal question. Because as David Niyonsenga, I know there's a time after your working, busy day, you would want to go somewhere to have a good time.
Sure.
And at the same time, you need to serve the interests of your government, which you represent from the Ministry of Infrastructure and serving as a person in charge of urbanization.
Sure.
So today, in this whole discussion that is going on, whose side are you on?
Oh my God. I'm the side of the government.
You're inside of the government.
But not say that as just being the side of government. I'm the side of just having a city which is livable for all, even comfortable for all. Is a city which is free of noise, for example. If you want to just to make entertainment, make sure that you cope with all the standard requirement so that you enjoy freely without causing just disturbance to the others. Because, for example, I could be like in a free time where I want to concentrate. For example, with myself, I want to just...
And do you check your policies and everything?
Yeah, sure. Like everybody, maybe I do business. I want just to spend my night looking about how I make the business, how the contact I have to make, how the count of accounting I have to do, things like that. So I want to concentrate. So, but
and you hear some noise, some people having a good time who also want to relieve their stress.
Yeah, exactly. It's a matter of making sure that let's make the city which is livable for all.
Do you agree with the calls for having a measuring instrument and an agreed amount of sound that is tolerable? Do you agree that there is need for that?
Sure, there's need, but before we go there, but in the terms of just go in setting the standard, this kind of noise, but let's go. We are just human. We know that what is too much, because for example, if I say too much, is like that's an adjective. It's like you cannot even measure like too much, but. Of course, the standard, that's even the role of the ministry, because as our country is developing, we are developing different standards, standard of building, standard of roads, standard of of many.
So
many,
for now, no need
things.
of having a measuring instrument.
Of course, by having this like a concern, because we are here just to respond of the people view. Yes. We just have to look for different, how can we standardize the matter? But so far,
are we doing it already, or are we still planning to do it? Are we doing it? Are we working on reaction matters, because people have been reacting?
Yeah.
What are we doing?
We are working on it. We are doing on a reaction to see how we can just get the view of everybody. How can everybody can be happy, and how everybody can think like is concerned.
So before we move on to the issue of how do we successfully avoid congestion or congestion of one particular city and ensure that we have even distribution of facilities throughout these all cities that you mentioned earlier on. Let's just put the final nail on this coffin of this whole noise issue. So what message do you have today for those people who have been feeling like they're being oppressed, that their city or their surrounding is modernizing and they're growing, they've been working hard, and today they see this rule and they feel being oppressed? What can you tell them?
I could say that this is sometimes when the rules it came the first time, there's a different reaction. The opponent, there's many comment about it, how we can make it much better. What I can say that is just let's all of us positively contribute how we can make it much better. Because as people are complaining the way you are saying, is like even before people are complaining of much noise. So let's all put our hands together, see how we can complement each other, how we can make this regulation much better by providing some constructive comment, not to just say that, and don't feel like you want to be in a city with yourself. You need what to make it much better a city is that city is inclusive. There are many people in the city. When it's inclusive,
and everybody is happy.
Yeah, there's a people of different background, people with different vision, of different appreciation. So you have to make sure that there's a way the government is there just to make sure that there's a balance that everybody is feeling better in the city.
Sure. Yeah. Let's now move on in the last minutes of the show, because we don't have much time. There is still a group of people who still feel like Kigali is the place to be. If I want a job, Kigali is the place to go to. If I want to live in town, Kigali is the place to go to. Do you feel concerned by this? Because we are seeing probably there might be congestion of this city, the roads and everything. And how are we going to deal with this?
I could say that we are fully concerned. Because if you're looking in the urban population in Rwanda, the half of urban population in Rwanda, they are in Kigali, which means 50% of urban dweller in Rwanda. So the rest, other 50%, are just distributed within other cities that we have, which have more than 10. So that's why even this idea of promoting a secondary city, that's how it came from. To see there's a need, even a reason why people are going in Kigali. Of course, there's a much and a better of service than what you can find in the rest of the country. So by saying that we are fully concerned, we're trying to see how we can make it better, the other city more attractive, so that people can feel also the service I tend to go find in Kigali, I can find it in Musanze, I can find it in Nyagatare. Because what matters is what we find in the city, not just the city by the name itself.
Okay.
Yeah.
But facilities, yes.
Yeah, exactly. Facility, those jobs. If the kind of entertainment, as we are saying, is part of the activity and attractiveness within a city.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in the next 2 weeks or 1 week to come, what will we be seeing in the news from your ministry?
It depends on which angle you want to talk, because ministry on many things. But if you are talking about specifically the urbanization of human settlement, because we cannot talk urban planning or just urbanization as a standalone, it has to go in hand with just rural settlement, because the people are coming from.
Let's talk urbanization.
Yeah. So what I could say that is the government is putting all its effort to make sure that their strategic intervention, which are specific to promote not only the secondary city, even our city of Kigali, because we want to make it much more better, because we want to make it sure a city which is free of noise, as we are referring to, a city which is promoting much more the mobility for the people, a city which providing opportunity for jobs. Okay. So that's what we hand off to find and to see our city look like.
Thank you, David.
You're welcome.
For your time. Asante sana. That's all the time we had for Right Here on One-on-One. We're hoping that maybe we'll find some more time to discuss even more issues from the Ministry of Infrastructure, especially on the issues of urbanization.
Sure.
There you have it. That is David Niyonsenga. He is the principal engineer in charge of urbanization and housing development at the Ministry of Infrastructure. My guest today on One-on-One. More discussions, more shows just like this one coming your way right here on 89.7 Contact FM. The hashtag to use to keep conversing with us is 101RW. I'm Eugene Anangwe, signing off.